You ever notice how some people genuinely love being alone, while everyone else is out partying, chasing noise, posting pictures with big friend groups? There are some people who are just like, no thanks. I'd rather stay home with my thoughts and maybe a snack. And society loves to act like that's strange, like if you don't want to go out every weekend, something must be wrong with you. But here's the thing, some people aren't avoiding others. They're simply more comfortable in their own space. And the psychology behind that is honestly way deeper than most people realize. People who like being alone usually have something called high self-awareness. They understand themselves more than the average person does. They know what drains their energy, what stresses them, what environments feel fake, and what situations feel real. And instead of forcing themselves into places that exhaust them, they simply choose peace. You ever notice how some people go to a social gathering and within 1 hour they're mentally done? Their energy drops like a phone battery at 3%. Meanwhile, someone else there is bouncing around like they just had 5 cups of coffee. Yeah, different wiring. Some people recharge around others, and some people recharge when they're alone. People who enjoy being alone recharge internally. Silence doesn't scare them. Being with their thoughts doesn't feel uncomfortable. In fact, they actually grow from it. A lot of people stay busy just so they don't have to sit with themselves. They drown themselves in noise, distractions, constant socializing, endless scrolling, anything to avoid thinking too deeply. But people who like being alone, they're not running from their mind. They face it. They sit with their thoughts. They reflect. That's not avoidance. That's emotional courage. Another interesting thing about people who prefer solitude is that they value depth over noise. Some conversations feel empty, surface level, meaningless. You're talking, but nothing real is being said. And for people who enjoy being alone, forcing themselves into shallow interactions feels worse than being by themselves. They don't hate people. They just prefer real connection, real conversation, real energy. If the vibe feels fake, they quietly check out. They're not quiet because they have nothing to say. They're quiet because not everything deserves to be spoken about. People who like being alone are also usually very independent. They don't need constant attention to feel valid. They don't panic when someone cancels plans. In fact, sometimes canceled plans feel like a blessing. They're like, plans got canceled? Guess I'm staying home and relaxing. What a tragedy. They're comfortable being by themselves. And that is not isolation. That's emotional stability. Crowds drain them. Loud energy drains them. So, alone time is an escape. It's recovery. It's like when your phone starts overheating and you have to put it down for a while. Same thing, just with your mind. People who like being alone also tend to have strong self-respect. They don't tolerate fake friendships, one-sided relationships, or constant drama. They would rather walk away than force themselves to stay somewhere that doesn't feel right. If they have to shrink themselves just to fit into a group, they'd rather leave. Peace is more important than attention. Silence is better than forced company, and independence is better than being surrounded by the wrong people.